Like, well, that was a long time ago. It was the early 1900s baseball we were talking about. Give me a little bit of background. How did you get started with this idea, and how did it go from just an idea into fruition?
Well, I was sampling the homeless lifestyle out in Arizona. I was sleeping in the desert in a tent, and one night about midnight, God woke me up and said, "I want you to walk across America." And I hadn't been watching Forrest Gump or anything.
Right.
You know. So this was kind of amusing to me. I said, "God, don't you think you got the wrong person? You know, I'm 66 years old, 67. I can't remember exactly." And I said, "Why don't we find a young guy to do this?" You know. So he just kind of left me alone. I didn't hear anymore. The next night, about midnight, he woke me up. And he said, "About this walk across America." And my reaction was, I thought we settled this last night.
I thought this was a dead issue.
So he could tell that I wasn't too interested, so he just kind of leaves me alone. Third night, midnight, he wakes me up. He says, "I'm serious about the walk across America." I said, third time, huh? This is God. This is serious. You know,
Listen.
I remembered Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he was sweating it. And he said, "Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done." So I just took that attitude. And I said, "God, I can't do this." And he just assured me. He said, "You can do it. I'll help you out." So I've suffered a lot in the walk, physically. Mentally and spiritually, I've been strong all the way because I'm sure of what I'm supposed to be doing. But physically, I knew it was going to be tough from the beginning, and it's really, I felt like crying more than once.
Can't say as I blame you.
I've cried out for help. "Father, help me! Father, help me! Father, help me!" I've sung songs. He's given me 2 or 3 different songs, new songs.
I hope you jotted them down.
Well, we got them on. Barbara
Got them on
recorded
tape?
them. Yeah. And they're on the internet on YouTube. But anyway, that's how it came about. And I've got a little church group, and
Out of?
well, we're in the church house is in Guys, Tennessee. But
Spell that for me.
Guys.
Okay.
We were sued by our mother church, and it scattered most of my members. They sued us for trademark infringement. The name of our religion infringes upon their church name. So anyway.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah, and you can read all about that.
I may have to look that up now.
You can look that up. Yeah, it's really. My conscience is very sensitive. If I believe God wants me to do something, it's got to be done according to His mandate. And I really don't care if you or others think I'm crazy. I don't care if the judge thinks I'm crazy. I've got to obey God. As long as I'm not hurting you or somebody else. So that's where it was. And a lot of my members, most of my members are just scattered around now. Some had to leave the country and so forth. But anyway, my church members' first reaction to this was basically the same as mine. "You're too old for this. You must have misunderstood. You're here. You're hallucinating. Something.
Right.
You're getting old.
Yeah.
Going to your second childhood.
Right.
And my wife is in Uganda. We're missionaries to Uganda.
Right.
So she's in Uganda, and I'm telling her about this, and I'm saying, "Can you come back and drive the pace car for me?" I don't even have a pace car yet, right?
Right.
I'm dreaming. And she's like scratching her head a little bit, like, "Is my husband losing it?" So anyway, after some time of dialogue, I convinced everybody that this was the real thing. So they got behind me. My wife came back. We found a pace car. End of story. But, or beginning of story. So now we have to plan this thing. So I have a friend in California who's a brain. He's just he's a homeless brain. He's just too smart to fit into he's a round thing fitting in the square hole.
Yep, there you go.
So he says, I'll help you plot this thing out. He says, I know how to use Google Maps and all this stuff. So he gets to helping me. And we come up with this Kill Devil Hills, first in flight, to Santa Monica Pier, California. And he helped me a couple months plotting that out, and then I revised it, and then Barbara came back, and we actually traced it physically. That's when we met you. And we got back to Kill Devil Hills, and we started April 23rd on our 19th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Started with a kiss and a prayer. Put my little feet in the ocean.
Now, are you talking about now or 19 years ago?
No. No, this time. We started April 23rd this year. And, the real support here is coming from Barbara. God and Barbara, and people along the way. I'm having an average of 10 to 12 encounters, roadside encounters every day. People stopping, saying, thank you for what you're doing. And I'm saying, you don't even know what I'm doing. Well, I'm carrying an American flag. I'm saluting every motorist that goes by. One lady was going down the road. I saluted her. I didn't recognize her. She came back and she said, sir, when you saluted me, you moved me. It's like it was something spiritual or something, But God told me this. He said, Americans spend a lot of resources honoring the dead. We have the tomb of the unknown soldier. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of years we spend on that. And then everybody has these big, expensive funerals and all this stuff. And God said, what are people doing to honor the living?
And I was going to ask you, because you've got put an end to persecution on your signage. What is it? What is the message?
Well, that was there
before you got started. Okay.
Before the walk.
Okay.
That's related to the lawsuit thing.
Okay.
Where I went to jail and all that.
We got all that. Now, we ain't worried about that.
But the Liberty Petition is still there because I'm trying to get Congress. I'm petitioning Congress to clarify the language of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act in 1993. This is what Congress put in place so that people of faith who have conscientious beliefs like I do can have a chance if there's a law against what they're doing. In other words, the courts have to use strict scrutiny to make sure that the government's burden is greater than the individual person's conscience. Okay? But what has happened is the circuit courts in America are not giving equal weight. In the Sixth Circuit, you can lose a case that you could win in the Ninth.
Right.
So I'm petitioning Congress because the U.S. Supreme Court has denied 2 petitions whereby they could have clarified it.
Right.
Congress was the one that made the law. It's a no-brainer. They can clarify the law so that the courts know how to rule. So that's my big thing right now, is stop the persecution of Christians who are losing in some circuits where they would have won in others. That's persecution of a sort.
Okay.
So, and I actually lost my case in the Sixth Circuit and would have won it in the Ninth. So
It doesn't surprise me.
So it doesn't help me if Congress clarifies it, because my case is a done deal. But my children or my grandchildren or my great-grandchildren might benefit from it, or yours. So the cause is, in a nutshell, this. I'm promoting a new birth of freedom, borrowed from Gettysburg Address, and integrity in America, raising awareness to the 10 Commandments, the Golden Rule, and our founding documents. George Washington, on his leaving address, or whatever you call it, with his goodbyes, I'm paraphrasing, he said something to this effect. He said, a nation cannot stand unless it's founded on religious principle. Now, I'm not saying that the church should rule this country. No. Because God is the God of the Muslim, the Jew, the Christian, Hare Krishna or whatever. He's the God of the atheists. They just don't know it. So we've got a game going on here. We got a championship game. You know, Clemson doesn't get in this one.
Right.
America's in this one. And we're fighting for all the apples here. A game of life. And what they've done is they put God on the bench first, and they didn't even like him on the bench because people were consulting him. So they just ejected him from the stadium. I believe he should have been the head coach. And my fellow Americans agree, at least in North Carolina and South Carolina so far. I'm in a friendly neighborhood.
Very friendly. You're almost in the buckle. One or two more states, you'll be right in the buckle of the belt.
Right.
So, well, how much longer do you think? I know you're behind, and how are you gauging how much longer this walk's going to take?
You know, I don't even think about it except every time I talk to news media, they ask me, how long is it going to take?
As long as it takes.
As long as it takes.
It's the best answer in the world.
We figure we can do it this year. You know, maybe by Christmas or New Year's. But it's not a race.
Right.
The whole deal is about networking with people, getting discussion going, motivating people, encouraging people. In the vernacular of Christianity, getting someone saved. And of the saved, getting someone to leave their comfort zones, come out of their four walls, and get the work done. Let yourself be known for what you are. You claim to be a Christian. If you talk the talk, walk the walk. And I'm doing a radical illustration of that one.
Right.
So I've coined this phrase, and some people like it. I'm beating a loud drum so that a few will hear a whisper.
Fair enough. I like a good turn of phrase. I'm a writer. Of course I do. Of course I do. You feel like, well, I mean, no, you already answered that question because I was going to ask you, you know, you feel like you're getting a response and that sort of thing, but you're talking about people, you're seeing people every day.
Every day, 10 to 12. Yesterday I had 13, one day I had 18. And it was on television yesterday.
Oh, even better.
Channel 7, Channel 4, and Fox came out. Greenville missed the scoop. Greenville News.
Did they?
They missed the scoop. They wouldn't take it.
See, I don't get that. But
I don't either. You know, they missed a golden opportunity.
It's all right. They'll probably run it because they'll probably take it from me. It'll probably be in the state newspaper on their website too. The state newspaper rips my stuff up off of our website all the time. If you go onto thestate.com and type in Easley Progress, it will pull up pages of my stuff. And I keep telling them, you know what? Why don't you just pay me to work for you? Instead of, you know, I know you can pay me more. I can actually, you know, subsist a little bit. Well, listen, so congratulations so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking this on. At some point this week, you guys get up with me and get me an address